Hey everyone. There are some really interesting things going on in this show already, and I wanted to start breaking it down for you and explain some of what people are already talking about. This is Star Wars Music Analysis. From the beginning, we get this potential and very subtle hint to one of Star Wars fans' favorite characters and beyond in the title credit music. I'm referring to Darth Maul. Yes, that Darth Maul. And I know he's dead, being beaten by Obi-Wan. No, not that time. Yep, that one. But if we listen closely to the themes for the Book of Boba Fett, Ludwig Göransson gives us this little motif. Now, let's compare this melody to the Crimson Dawn theme from Solo, a Star Wars story. There are several very clear similarities that I think make this more than a simple coincidence. First, the rhythm of both motifs is a simple short, long. But in addition to this basic rhythm that they both have in common of the short, long, both of these motifs are seen and heard in a triple meter, meaning a measure or meter that has 3 beats before we return to a strong downbeat. To go one step even further with the rhythm, both of these are set in a way where the shorts, or the eighth notes, occur on the strong first beat of that measure, giving a weight and an importance to those shorts over anything else within the measure. Second, and just as important as the rhythm, is the pitch and interval relationship. Both themes move by a half step or a minor second in a down and then up contour. But it's not just the interval alone, but also the scale degrees that it moves through. Both motifs move from the third scale degree down to the second and back to the third in a minor scale, which is why we hear that minor second to begin with. We can recognize this as musicians because the bass underneath of it is a minor third below the first note of both motifs. The bass, or lowest note, is what our brain adjusts every other pitch we hear to. The third common factor between these two examples is the instrumentation and what we call the timbre of the motif. The timbre is the specific makeup of the sound. It's the physical and acoustical properties that allow you to tell one person's voice from another, for example. Both examples make use of the French horn section in the lower register of the instrument. Now, this specific sound is important as a film composer as well because the instrument being used for a character, place, or idea can tell you a lot about that character as well. Brass instruments, like the French horn in this case, tend to communicate strength. A high-pitched brass instrument tends to be used for a heroic character, while a brass instrument in the lower register, like the use of the French horn here in its lowest register, typically refers to a more sinister character. So, for me, this is a clear and intentional connection to the original Crimson Dawn theme. I mean, it's just too closely related, and Göransson had to have known he was doing this. And really, this shouldn't come as that much of a surprise. We already know that Fett is trying to become a crime boss, and it would only make sense that we are going to see competitive crime syndicates like Crimson Dawn, but also Black Sun, the Pikes, and the Crymora Syndicate play a role in this story and come into this story at some point, either as allies or as foes to Fett. Now, while we probably won't see Maul himself, but then again, who knows? I mean, Luke's quote about nobody ever truly being gone seems more and more literal every week. But more likely we'll see someone like Emilia Clarke's Kira, though obviously older now, make an eventual appearance. For now though, we still don't know if this is a coincidence or something more though. In addition to this, we see the return of Max Rebo, albeit with an entirely new set of band members, They're playing a variation of the Cantina band song Mad About Me. I talk more about this in my previous video about this return and what the music they're playing could mean, which I'll link to here, at the end, and in the description below, so check that out. The overall sound of the show's music is very similar to that of The Mandalorian, but that should come as no surprise, seeing that it was also created by Ludwig Göransson, who composed the music for The Mandalorian. It also makes sense though, since the Book of Boba Fett directly spawns out of the events of The Mandalorian and in some ways feels like a sequel or intermediary season to The Mandalorian. But Göransson took that nostalgic Western sound to a new level in Chapter 1 by bringing this tubular bell sound and the male vocals and even trumpets that sound like mariachi players to the score that directly reference the old Western scores by Ennio Morricone of movies like The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, and The Wild Boar. The tambourine, that jingly metallic instrument we occasionally hear, is the sound that gives us a visual reference to the spurs that cowboys and ultimately Boba Fett are known for wearing as well. All of this plays into the vision that Filoni and Favreau initially had with The Mandalorian to bring the essence of the old Western gunslingers from the original scenes on Tatooine back into full swing in these new series. I also love the way the music affects us in this scene. Everything up till now has been big, darker sounds with heavy bass. Göransson waits until this moment to give us a lighter feel with this scherzo-like triple feeling, but the heavy bass has also been removed. We need this moment at this point because if the entire show feels dark and heavy, then we become immune to it and it stops having that effect altogether. The silence, followed by lighter music in this scene, gives all of the dialogue and interactions a lighter and more comical feeling. This is the first time we see Fett trying to be a crime lord, and it certainly does not go the way he wants it to. So, allowing it to have comic release also makes it feel less hopeless. Here's another scene where Göransson uses meter to help keep the mood light. This time though, he uses alternating patterns of 6 and 5 to keep us feeling just a little off-kilter. While the lighter 3 pattern is predominant, the final measure, being in 2, gives us a sense of abruptness that feels awkward and therefore jovial in this context. Of course, these lighthearted scenes always help give impact to the heavier scenes and moments that follow. In the final scene, we also hear references to Hindu music. The tambourine again plays a role here, but the scale, commonly referred to as the Aeolian dominant or Hindu scale that this music is using, is often used by film composers to evoke a Middle Eastern sound or a feeling that we're in some sort of desert. It's also used in this example by James Horner for the Mask of Zorro theme. In either case, it conveys a hero who is on a mission in the desert, which is a perfect reference for Fett. In fact, it's very similar as well to this theme by Jerry Goldsmith from the 1999 film The Mummy. I believe the reason that Göransson uses it here is to create a sonic connection between Fett and the Tusken Raiders, and my guess is that we will see these two form alliances more and more in the future episodes. So, what do you all think? Is this a hidden message placed in the music by Göransson, or do you think this little 3-note motif has been completely blown out of proportion? What do you all think of the music so far in the Book of Boba Fett? Let me know if there's anything I've missed, and tell me what you think in the comments below. But before you go, don't forget to like this video and please subscribe to learn more about the music of the galaxy far, far away. And as always, may the be with you.